Welcome to A.U.M. Ask Us Marketing. I'm your host, Callie Fedesinko. I am the founder of Savvy Advisor Marketing, a digital marketing agency developed to build relationships between financial advisors and their target audience, using data to create websites, online content, and ads. We build relationships first and grow numbers second. Learn more about me and Savvy Advisor Marketing by scanning the QR code you see next to me. And as always, our episode today is brought to you by the Financial Planning Association, otherwise known as the FPA. FPA is a great resource center providing education, support, and networking opportunities for financial advisors like you. And I am very frozen. This has been an ongoing issue. So, I will be turning my camera off for the time being, and you can watch my audio symbol here. Okay. So, many advisors hear the advice, choose a niche, but committing to one can feel a little bit risky. And in this episode, we're joined by Michael Labos, founder of GenX Wealth Partners, to talk about what happens when you finally focus on the audience you're meant to serve. Michael built his virtual practice around a specific group of clients that matters deeply to him, but the path to getting there wasn't easy. After an early attempt at niching down, Michael nearly sold his practice in 2018. Instead, he used that experience as a turning point. Today, his firm is built around a clearly defined audience and a strong sense of purpose. So join me as we explore how finding the right niche can transform not just your marketing, but your entire business. Welcome, Michael. Excited to talk about your story here, and hopefully I won't freeze.
No problem, Callie. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I think your story is really interesting because we're always telling people niche down. And a lot of times people, advisors specifically, don't want to go deep enough, but you actually had the opposite problem. So could you talk about that? Like, what niche did you initially pick, and like what happened?
Sure. So going back to 2018, it was an interesting time for me. I'm sure that other advisors have this same problem. It was, how do you differentiate yourself? And I think that was my biggest problem back then. I had been doing that at that point for about, say 12 years. I was an advisor for 12 years, but I was having a tough time bringing on new clients. I didn't really have much of a self-identity in terms of being an advisor. And I was having a bit of a struggle. And I said to myself, well, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So at the time, I said to myself, I have to do something different. And I went down the rabbit hole of figuring out a niche. And I think there's a few problems with that. First off, I thought the niche made a lot of sense. So back then, I'll kind of give you some context. ESG investing, or socially responsible investing, was starting to grow. And I saw an opportunity. I said, well, no one's really specializing in this, and there's obviously a growing desire for this. So let's take a chance and let's go that route. So in 2018, I instead of selling my practice, which would have been a big mistake, I went down the rabbit hole of creating a niche in ESG, or socially responsible investing. And I learned a lot in that process. I made some good contacts with some investment firms such as Calvert, who specialized in that space. And I developed portfolios and a message, but I had a tough time gaining traction. I went to a lot of events within the Pittsburgh area, started talking to people, but I wasn't getting the results. And I stayed with it for about a year, which I say, if you're gonna do something, a year is enough of a time frame to kind of, have some context to see if it's working or not. And I think a lot of that had to do with Perhaps where I live in Pittsburgh, maybe the area wasn't ready for that, or the need wasn't here as much as I thought it was nationally. Um, but I wasn't really having a lot of success with that. So instead of selling my practice, I said to myself, let's just go back to what I was doing.
Mm,
And I struggled with that until I'm going to say 2020.
mhm,
2019, I got my CFP designation. I thought that might help my practice, and it did. It did
mhm,
from a confidence perspective, um, but I still wasn't differentiated. And
mm,
me, I like to be different than most people.
mhm.
I zigged it, rather than follow the group think. Um, and then the COVID hit,
Mhm.
and it gave people a lot of time to think, a lot of time to think. And I recognized that no one talks to Gen X, and that led me to launching GenX Wealth Partners. Actually, today is my 6-year anniversary of the firm launch.
Yay.
And I think it made a lot of sense because I'm a Gen Xer. I was able to be authentic, be true to myself. If you can see behind me, I've got a picture of the vacation with Chevy Chase, and that's autographed. So everything I try to do is authentic to myself and also serve an audience that wasn't being spoken to.
Mm,
But it took time, and it took failure, and failure is part of the process.
mhm. Um, and yes, I see that I'm frozen. Hopefully you can hear me. What ultimately led you to find that niche of Gen X?
Well, I think it came down to recognizing that there is a generational wealth transfer happening,
Mm,
and boomers are retiring, and Gen X is also inheriting a lot of money.
mhm,
And I read studies about how most advisors don't retain the assets or the relationship because they have no relationship with the kids. And the kids, the
mhm.
boomers, are Gen X. And I said to myself, well, geez, why isn't anybody talking to Gen X?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it had to do with they're not useful yet. Gen X has money,
Mhm,
but some of Gen X doesn't have money, and they need to play catch up. So I saw an opportunity to not only help retain relationships, but also help a generation get on track financially. And to me, that looked like an opportunity to add a lot of value um, to people who are underserved and
mm,
misunderstood. I don't think a lot of people
mhm.
understand who Gen X is, and I think you have to be a Gen Xer to understand what a Gen Xer is. Um, we're interesting to say the least. So that kind of sent me down the path to launching the firm and recognizing what Gen X needs. There's
Mm,
some parts of financial planning that Gen X needs, and some part that they don't need. And
right.
specializing with Gen X in the topics that are important to them it comes very easily to me because I am them.
Because you're in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So okay, so with the ESG niche,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like stalled. Um, but Gen X didn't like you've grown from it. Um, how what do you think you're doing differently that's attracting people between the two niches? Or do you just think it was a demand problem?
I think it's being able to market to them. It's
Mm.
easy because you're specific, right?
Mhm.
I'm not asking people, oh, hey, you about to retire? How much do you have in your 401k? How much income do you need? It's much more broad based than that. It's, we have 15 years until you retire. All right, let's look at your income. Let's look at your foundation, right? You
Mm.
still have, I, I joke about this, but at Gen X, we still have time to do the planning, but we don't have any time, actual time to do the planning because we're so
Right.
busy. So that also, you know, how do I say this? People push things down, they kick the can down the road, right? They keep delaying,
Mhm.
delaying because it's not an immediate concern, right? But
Right.
one day you're going to wake up and you're say, well, geez, I wish I had started 10 years ago. So it's education. and encouraging people to recognize that there's still time to get on track, right?
Mm.
You're not
Mhm.
alone in this concern. Half of Gen X, as an example, does not work with a financial advisor. Half.
Mm.
And I think that's an issue that my industry needs to address because we're so
Mhm.
focused on AUM,
Yep.
assets under management, right? And if there's a Gen Xer who might have $50,000 but is
Mhm.
making $100,000 a year because their income has gone up, okay, that's somebody that you could probably help. But
Mhm.
I don't think my industry recognizes that. They're always looking for the large AUM clients, and they focus on that.
Mhm.
So I took a different approach, trying to broaden my audience and have more of a mass appeal.
Do you think that that affects your profit? Like, I don't know how to word this, but like if you're serving Gen X and they don't have as much assets, you have to bring on more clients than someone who's serving baby boomers?
Not necessarily. I
Mhm.
think the compensation uh, grid or
Model. Yeah.
the models are based upon AUM.
Mhm.
And I have spliced that. So I charge
Mm.
a financial planning fee on top of AUM. Um,
Mhm.
and that's helped me monetize the Gen X relationship and provide value, um, where otherwise the traditional AUM model, it's going to price people out. People aren't going to be,
Right.
they're not attractive, so to speak, unfortunately, because client or advisors haven't been able to monetize that relationship.
Yeah.
And focusing on financial planning is where most people get the most value from an advisor. I always tell my clients,
Mhm.
yes, I can add value with the AUM through um, reduced, managing your risk better, reducing the emotional impacts that investing has, um, but also, uh, insurance planning, basic estate planning, which Gen X greatly lacks. I ask
Mm.
people all the time, do you have a will, powers of attorney? And people look at me like, I'm crazy. Like, what? No. They might
Yeah.
have a will, maybe. Powers of attorney, unlikely.
Yeah. I'm not old.
Um, but there's so much value that you can get from financial planning. I lead with that, and I
Mhm.
second, and that's really helped me broaden my appeal and the ability to help more people that typically would not be working with an advisor because they don't have enough
Mhm.
AUM to be attractive.
Yes. I would say I'm a millennial but my brothers are both Gen X, and um there always seems to be this sentiment with people around our ages that, well, we don't have enough money to work with an advisor, so they don't even look into it.
Mhm.
But that being the case, how are you marketing to them? Because I mean, a lot of them are like, well, I don't have the money. So I'm assuming that you go in with a different approach because you know who your audience is. Can you talk about
I,
that for a little bit?
yeah, I just talk to them about pain points I know they're experiencing. Right?
Yeah.
Are you on track? I don't know. Maybe. Um, what would happen? There's different issues. So when you're working with a near retiree or a retired person,
Mhm.
they're in the distribution phase. They're not worried about certain things. Gen
Mhm.
X, what happens if you can't work? A disability insurance is something that most Gen Xers, if they have it, it's through their employer, and it's not
Right.
significant or it's not enough because they're getting that through their employer. They're getting that after tax because their employers are getting the tax deduction. So you probably need a supplemental DI policy that's tax free that optimizes your 60% that you're allowed to have. So
Mm.
most people don't have proper insurance for something if happens, health or disabled, because 1 in 4 adults become disabled in their lives,
Mm.
25%.
That's
And
a
most
lot.
people, yeah, that's an insurable risk. And most Gen Xers aren't prepared for that.
Yeah.
Uh, Emergency funds, cash flow, which led me to create my own financial planning method, which I call the Control Alt Delete method, which is effectively a financial reboot for Gen X. I
Mm.
think financial planning is archaic.
Mm.
It's set on rules that were created long time ago that might still work for boomers, but for Gen X, we live in a dynamic economy, a dynamic workplace, and we need a new system, a new rule book, playbook. So I created this method, and it focuses on two real things, which is cash flow optimization and tax mitigation. There's a lot of things that you can do now as a Gen Xer that if you're getting closer to retirement, you can't. Roth conversions, Roth 401k, health savings accounts, optimizing your brokerage account, which is an underutilized tool. So there's a lot of things that you can do while you have a runway to do it. I think financial planning is more proactive than reactive. You know, I always tell my clients two things you should do when you don't need it is to borrow money, and you know, you get insurance because you can get it. The bank's not going to give you money if you are high risk, or if you're already sick, you're not going to get the insurance. So it allows me to be proactive with my clients, and you know, coming from a position of as a peer, not as someone who's older, down to them per se. Like, why haven't you done this already? It's about how can I help you get on track?
Right.
It's a daunting task. You know, if someone tells you need 2.2 million to retire and you got 200 grand in your 401k and you're 48 years old, you're just like, well, what's the point? You know, it's defeating. I try to tell people that no, it's possible, and here's how we do it. So I come from a different perspective. I'm not going to, you know, make you feel bad about your shortcomings. It's about how do we fix those and get on track. It's more uplifting, I think. And that's my message. It's uplifting. It's possible. You can get on track. I can help you.
Empowering.
Yeah. And I like to have fun too. So
yeah. Yeah. I want you to talk a little bit about that, where you know, you mentioned the marketing itself, like the design of it. You can have some more fun. So can you talk about some of the things that you do?
Sure. So one of my favorite things is my annual client event that I host. And I try to have some fun with my clients and maybe make a fool of myself in front of them to humanize me. So in the past, I've done 80s trivia night at a local brewery, which was fun. And I've done putt-putt. I've done duck pin bowling. Last year, I took my clients curling, which was interesting. Curling, yeah. Not as easy as you think.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's hard to fall on the ice, but it's tough. It is. I marketed that as BYOB, bring your own broom. But you know, I use a lot of references to pop culture from the 70s and 80s that if you're of that age, you would get it. A lot of movie references, song references, and I tie all my stories to those to make it, oh, well, yeah, I get it. That makes sense. I've seen that movie, or I know that song.
Right.
So that's why I can have fun with it, make it relatable and authentic. And that's what people want. They don't want someone, you know, uptight and speaking down to them and have no real connection with them. And the fact that I've been doing this for 22 years, they can, and as a certified financial planner, I think they can have confidence that I know what I'm doing.
Right. Another thing I want to ask about, like communication methods. You know, millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, I guess is next. Although they really relate to videos. Is there a method of communication that your audience responds better to?
Yeah, there is. So go back to 2020. I think things happen for a reason, even though you might not recognize the reason at the time.
Right.
So in 2020, I was already pondering launching my own firm. And at that point, you know, we were all stuck in our homes. Go back to like March 2020. So I said to myself, in February, I was actually looking at office space. I was looking at office space, and thank God I did not sign that lease. So I said, well, you know, why not just go virtual? at least for the
Yeah.
time being. I can't have my business stop. So I bought the, computer setup, the cameras, everything,
Mhm.
um, and started with the intent of going back to the office virtually. But then
Mhm.
people, I think they got used to it, like you said. And
Yeah.
then I said to myself, it's just way more efficient. I love my commute, which is down the hall. And I save my clients time and gas money. And, if
Mhm.
weather is bad, we can still meet. So and my clients, I got clients across the country, virtual is the way that I would
Yeah.
meet with them regardless. So um, I think virtual practice is a strength, not a weakness. And I think the, the COVID
Mhm.
really normalized that and also destigmatized
Mhm.
working from home as an advisor. Because even me in 2019, if you're working from your house, I would say, well, is this guy legit? I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Right.
I don't know. Maybe, but now people don't question it. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people have worked from home. They recognize that you can still run a business from your house. Um, I mean, there's always a time and place for personal connection, and you really can't replicate that. Um,
Mhm.
so, I'm a member of a cigar club here, and I'll entertain clients there. Um, I take clients golfing, so I still have that personal connection. But from a day-to-day perspective, I don't see any downside with the virtual practice, and I think my clients at this point, I think they like it.
Yeah. Um, and I think that also speaks to when you pick a niche, it gives you that opportunity that you can focus on what that audience wants.
Correct.
You
Give them
know?
what they want, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's really a challenge if you don't have a niche, because who are you marketing to? If you ask,
Exactly.
I call non-niche advisors more general practitioners. And if
Mhm.
you ask a general practitioner what they do, they're gonna maybe fumble that because
Yeah.
they don't even know what they do, right? What do you do? Well, I manage money.
Practice
Okay,
medicine. Yeah.
yeah, I practice medicine. Who do you help? Well, I can help anybody. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like paralysis by analysis, right? If you can do everything, then you don't do anything at all, right? Because
Mhm.
you're just too stuck trying to do everything. But if someone asks me what I do, I can very easily say, well, I help GenX get on track financially.
Mm.
That's what I do in a nutshell.
Way more powerful.
It's easy. Yeah. And
Mhm.
marketing becomes easier because you're speaking to somebody that you understand and know.
Yeah.
So um, there's just so much opportunity within the niche as opposed to just being general. I'm shocked that more advisors don't do it.
Mm. Um, well, I think that actually leads me right into my next question. So many of them hesitate because they're afraid of limiting. Well, if I say that I only serve Gen X, then nobody else is going to come to me. Which one, have you found that to be true? Or do other people still find you? And then two, what would you say to an advisor who is saying that as they're listening to you right now?
I would say the limiting aspect is false
Mhm.
because if you think about it, how many potential clients out there? Millions. How many dollars are out there? Trillions, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it limiting you. I think it'll actually expand those opportunities for you because
Mhm.
people don't know what they are looking for either. And
Yeah.
if you and you go to a doctor as an example, oh my foot hurts. Okay, your PCP is going to send you to a podiatrist, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's easier for clients to find me because I'm a specialist. And also, um, why would you work with a general practitioner as opposed to a specialist? That's what also drives me crazy is I see
Mhm.
potential Gen X clients and they're working with someone who's doesn't specialize in them,
Yeah.
and they're missing opportunities. I could dive deep into inefficiencies with general practitioners versus a specialist, especially with
Absolutely.
Gen X. But it's not limiting. you'll have more fun doing it because you're going to be authentic. It doesn't have to be Gen X. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be ESG, socially responsible. It could be medical professionals. It could be teachers. It doesn't. It could be whatever you want it to be. And there's plenty of business to go around. I mean, how many clients
Mhm.
can you actually have, right? I mean,
Right.
and service them. I would say 200,
Yeah.
200, right?
Mhm. And then that
And
depends on the client too.
correct. And if you're focused only on retirees, unfortunately your book will slowly die off,
Yeah.
right? Working with the younger demographic, my clients, hopefully, they're going to be around just as long as I'm going to be around. And
Mhm.
the thing about Gen X is obviously Gen X will morph into what boomers are today, but the
Mhm.
needs for midlife professionals, for my most of my clients, new clients, are 40 to 60 years old. Those needs will stay intact, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, does Gen X Wealth Partners morph? It might. It might
Mhm.
into something more midlife, titled more for midlife professionals. But
Mhm.
um, I've also been able to develop a younger demographic for my book, which is also important.
Mhm. Yeah. Fresh blood.
So to speak, yes, fresh blood.
Um, Michael, this was a great conversation, and I really appreciate you sharing all of this with us. Um, for those following or watching right now, there is a QR code above my head. If you want to ask Michael a question directly, this will give you his email address. Please don't spam him. And is there anything else that you'd like to say before we close to advisors who are watching?
Don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself.
Mm,
And there's enough people out there doing general work. I would
mhm.
challenge you to find a niche that you're passionate about, build it out. I'm willing to bet that you'll learn a lot, have more fun at work, and be more satisfying because you're helping a group of people that you connect with.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that's what us as advisors want to do, is we want to have an impact on as many people as we can. Um, but I think it's even more meaningful if you can help a group of people that you're passionate about.
Love that. Great closing response.
Well, thank you, Callie, for having me. It was great chat with you as well.
Absolutely. And for those who are watching, um, if you're not comfortable asking your question publicly, as always, you can scan this QR code and schedule a one-on-one chat with me. I'd be happy to answer any marketing questions. Um, be sure to join us for our next AUM. Until